Guests on this show run the gamut, from academics and authors to politicians and pundits, even the occasional celebrity. And before I hang up my hosting hat, we're inviting back a select group of people who've made a real impression over the past 18 years. We're calling it Emily's List. The timing is especially ripe for us to reconnect with my next guest. She's got impressive national security credentials, so in addition to simply getting to know her better, we can also get her expert opinion on the controversial CIA interrogation report released yesterday. Juliette Kayyem is a former Homeland Security Administrator. She ran for governor in the last election and now runs her own consulting firm. And I happen to know she's a surfer. Welcome back to you,
I'm definitely
Juliette.
not in this weather. Thank you for having me. This is just a thrill.
Yeah, well, I remembered you telling me when you knew you weren't going to make it to the next round of the governor's race that you were going to go off surfing. So did you get to do that this summer?
It's true. I spent a lot of time on the beach and nothing to complain about. It was great. And it was a great run. I loved running for governor. It just, we came up short in June. Yeah.
People really loved you, including Gordon Hammersley, who we have on the show tonight, too. He says he was a big supporter.
Well, can I tell you, I love him.
Oh,
I wish he'd reopen a restaurant.
I can't remember how you first got on my radar screen, but I'm just going to take credit for putting you on everybody else's radar screen because, you know, now you're a big commentator with CNN and, you know, a very important person and all that.
You and I started talking about terrorism and national security before 9/11, so that when 9/11 happened, then you know, I was your go-to person. And that was when people started to notice. But just, you know, I'd been in this field since essentially '97.
What women get into this field? How did this happen?
I had like many women, I don't have a linear career. I sort of figure it out as I go along. I have 3 kids, so
little kids,
not so little anymore, 13, 11, and 9. But they're, you know, they're at that stage where you know that they sometimes need you more. They need you less when they don't want you, but they need you a lot when they do need you. And I had started off as a civil rights attorney. People remember from my run for governor, you know, I had worked for this governor, Deval Patrick, as a civil rights attorney. And it was during those years, which will seem very familiar to people today, that the question of how do you protect America while still retaining our civil liberties and civil rights and democracy was a challenge even then. So I got more involved with national security issues related to counterterrorism cases. There was a civil rights review of some of the counterterrorism cases, so that when 9/11 happened, I had served on a national commission, and there were just not that many people in the field. Personally, I then started to really be interested in Homeland Security as well, at more risk reduction. So that's why I talk a lot about climate change and criminal justice reform, that really, to protect the homeland, you can't just look at terrorists, however scary and horrible that is, that there's everything from public health threats to Mother Nature.
Now, I'm wondering, in light of this CIA torture report, if it isn't going to create more terrorism and more terrorist act and vengeance and let's go get those guys. And I know the whole thing was heavily redacted. I was talking to Charlie Sennett about this last night, but would there be revenge in the
it could be. I mean, I think most of the activity will probably be in the U.S. and the political fighting that you see going on. And, we've been pretty good about securing embassies and getting very, very focused on physical security for our people out in the field. So I think the long-term consequences of this, and I'm a proponent of the disclosure, and I think we need to accept this reckoning about what the country and what our agents and what that White House did, not to press blame, but obviously there'll be a debate about that, but so that we know, to be honest, so that we know we won't do it again, and that it didn't work. So that the next time something horrible happen to us, we won't say, well, we have to do this to protect ourselves. We have the evidence, 5 years proof of evidence, a 5-year investigation proof that it did not work. And so,
but were you shocked about how extensive it was
and the duration and the number of people?
Stuff they did.
Well, because it wasn't professional. So I've been in law enforcement and counterterrorism. Interrogation is a profession. It's a skill. It's a hard skill. And the people who are actually trained in it know what works, and they know that the intimacy between the captor and the captive, established through friendship, is often the best way to get information. And these guys were like, you know, I saw too many Rambo movies, and I'm gonna, you know, beat the crap out of and get nothing out of it. And so, you know, someone said about the CIA at that time, it did not know what it's doing, and it did that with a lot of enthusiasm, right? So it's like, it not only was it completely incompetent and immoral, but that it did it with such vigor, and it went all the way up. I mean, it did, and
really,
yeah, it is.
So now, can you see yourself running for office again?
Oh, you know, people ask me that.
I'm asking you too. I want to know.
You know, I will say I barely knew I was getting in this time. And I'm one of the benefits of not being a career politician is that it's not my career. I'm really happy right now. It's very difficult for a mother of three, and you know,
ask Jane Swift.
Yeah, ask Jane Swift and Karen Polito has young kids. I mean, it seemed like there was a good moment this time. It just didn't work out for me. But to say, oh, I'm going to build my life around 4 or 8 years, and that's what I'm doing. I want to be happy now. I'm writing. I'm doing work around the globe and here. And
I'll meet you for lunch.
I know, exactly. No, that would be fantastic. Getting back into shape, which is good.
I got to do that.
And remaining committed to the issues I care about, like criminal justice reform. And of course, I'm on CNN at 6:15 in the morning, I think, you know, with all of this stuff. So it's a good thing.
Juliette Kayyem.
So wait. So I am the preparedness person, you know, the candidate, and so I want to tell people, to prepare you for the years ahead, I brought you a preparedness kit. The first thing is Us Weekly. One day you two will know who these people are, because I actually didn't know. Although I do like the Housewives. 3 tickets to the AMC that will get you into a matinee, a movie. This is good. This is a preparedness package. TSA pre-clear application. If you are going to hit the road, I advise everyone to get that. And then finally, you know, something to appreciate the years ahead. There are many great poets and scholars from Massachusetts, but none is better than the great Mindy Kaling, who said, "There is no sunrise so beautiful that is worth waking me up to see it." And that has to be your philosophy of retirement. Exactly. Thank you for everything.
Totally retiring.
I know. You'll be here on Fridays, but we're happy for you.
Juliette Kayyem, thanks again.
Thank you.